What's up guys, Danielle here, neutralsupport.net, and today is day 5 of Pedro's week. Thank you for tuning in. If you missed the other 4, go back and watch them. They're all pretty fun, but I've saved the best for last, the grand finale, the new Pedro's Pro Saw Guide. Now before you turn this video off because you think that that's super boring and why would anybody do a video about a saw guide and what could even be important about a saw guide that I would have to do a video about it, you're me. From when this came out.
I learned it by watching you.
I have saw guides and I was like, cool. Yeah, it's nice that they offer a saw guide now. Wrong. I was wrong. And I'm going to show you why I was wrong in this video. Stay tuned.
Don't touch that dial.
So here's the Pedro's Pro Saw Guide. So the thing that makes this different than other saw guides on the market is a pretty simple thing, and that is that it is all metal. Now every piece of this is metal, and I used to joke with people that I wasn't a woodworker because I was a metal worker, and metal is predictable and can get into an exact shape. Wood is not, and sometimes it just breaks, and you're like, well, why did it break? I have no idea. The same is true about plastic. So plastic is generally predictable, but it's not a very exact shape. When you connect plastic to metal, like this Park Tool saw guide, and this is where things get important, right? So here's the Pedro's guide. Here's not one, but 3 Park Tool guides. So I've been using the Park Tool guide this entire time, my entire career. You can see I have one back in the day from the USA. I have 2 that are just from mysterious places. This tool marries a plastic body to a metal piece with some bolts. Now, if you look closely, you'll see that down here, the plastic and the metal meet perfectly, but up here, there's a gap. Is it just this one? No, it's every single one of these that I've ever owned has no gap down here, a gap up here. What that's done is if you put a piece of metal in here, now it's hard to see on a video probably because it's very slight, but if you notice, the metal is actually at an angle. So the tube sits at an angle in the saw guide. When you cut the fork, you end up with an angled cut, which is super annoying. Now, enter the new Pedro's Pro Saw Guide, all made out of metal. It can be, or at least nearly perfect. So when you put the metal in, drill these guys down. So if we look at these 2 saw guides with the tube in them, you'll see that the machined metal is actually perfectly flat against itself. With the plastic, there's a certain amount of flex. So as you tighten things, it's just inevitable that things are not going to be perfectly straight or perfectly planed. That's it. That's almost like the whole thing. Do I wish that the Pedro's one had a quicker connection? I do, but not at the sacrifice of accuracy. The other thing is, this is 2 Park Tool tools. One is the thicker one so that you can pass through with like a carbon fiber blade. The other is the thinner one so that you can use a regular metal blade. Pedro's actually went through this a little bit differently and has this shim here that's also made out of metal. So you can actually take this piece out, slip it in here. Not necessarily that you have to do this with the tube installed in the guide. You can probably do it better without that. And tighten it. Now you have the thicker so that you can put a carbon blade in there if this was carbon fiber. You can also take the shim back out so that you can have the thinner blade. So one tool does both things. It's simple. You might overlook it as something that you need to change in your life like I did, but it turns out that if you just get the right tool for the job the first time, you don't have to worry about silly things like, is my cut going to be crooked? I can't believe how long that I dealt with the cut being slightly crooked with a Park Tool guide before this came out. Now you just don't have to. It's beautiful. So there you have it. It's the Pedro's Pro Saw Guide, all metal all the time, perfectly straight cuts. Now, the Park Tool and the Pedro's are the same price, or roughly thereabouts, but if you think about it, Pedro's with the shim is actually both of these tools. So this is actually half price if you think about it that way. So you can have 2 tools for the price of 1 and actually get straight cuts. It's a no-brainer. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video about the Saw Guy, but also just Pedro's week in general. I had fun focusing on them as a company. Pedro's really has been stepping up their game, focusing on detail, focusing on efficiency. And they're really worth checking out if you've been sort of married to the Big Blue for a while or any of these companies. It's nice to mix your tools for the things that people do best. I, as a person, don't focus on one brand for my toolkit ever. I think that everybody has strengths and weaknesses, and I hope that this week you at least got to see that Pedro's has some really good strengths. If you did enjoy this video, feel free to like it. You can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Whenever I throw one of these out, it'll let you know. Head over to neutralsport.net. I've got swag, hats, aprons, shirts, things that you can wear that say, I watch some YouTube person online. As always, I hope you guys have a good day.